Hello there, this is Sean Usher on behalf of Eco Fires and Stoves, and today I'm talking to Danny Hillier from The Stove Doctor. And Danny, tell us a bit about your business and actually how you got started.
Yeah, so I've been involved with the stove and fireplace industry now for about 5 years. Started out fitting and installing the wood burners and fireplaces themselves. And then on Friday I sort of allocated that day to go ahead with the service and maintenance. Since then it's really sort of taken off around the local area, and it's become more of a full-time job, so I sort of took that into my own hands, and I now sort of work in partnership with Eco Fires, handling sort of their database for the service and maintenance, and also going elsewhere and getting my own work. So.
Okay, so first of all, what area do you cover?
Anywhere within sort of a 20-mile radius at the moment.
This is a fleet?
Yeah, of Fleet. Main area sort of consists of Fleet, Farnborough, Farnham, do a lot in Basingstoke as well, Churchcrook and those sort of areas.
So with the background that you have in installing stoves, you must have a great more insight than I'd say a lot of other suites who haven't had that background.
Yeah, it's definitely been handy coming from that background of installing. There's a lot of chimney sweeps out there that don't necessarily get involved with the insides of the stove and replacement of parts. So it's been handy having that knowledge to be able to do that.
So what does a service actually entail?
A service, what I offer as a full service, consists of firstly sweeping the chimney or the liner, a thorough sort of internal and external clean of the appliance, replacement of any parts, and just sort of really taking all the insides out of the stove and making sure it's running as it should be, really. So. And
the people that have sort of normal fires, like open fires, rather than a stove, is it important that they have a service as well?
No, they don't have a service as such. The most important thing is making sure that chimney is nice and clean. There's no build-up of soot or creosote, no birds sort of nesting in the chimney, that sort of thing. And at the end of that, there'll also be sort of a smoke test to make sure it's drawing properly, the correct ventilation is installed, and then a certificate will be issued at the end of that to make sure you're sort of covered with your housing insurance. So. And
how often do you think we should have our chimneys serviced?
They say around once a year. A lot of stove manufacturers are now advising if you're using the appliance more than 3 times a week that you should get it done twice a year. A lot of factors come into play though. The type of fuel that you're burning, the decency of the fuel, whether they're seasoned logs, as I say, the amount you're using it as well, and also the type of chimney that you've got, all depends on how often you need to get it done. So.
Yeah, a lot of people probably would move into a new house with a chimney and an open fire and think, well, I can just sort of put a fire in.
Yeah,
but that wouldn't be advisable, I guess.
It's not advisable. Someone put it quite well. I actually saw a website the other day saying that a chimney fire isn't the sort of housewarming that you want. It's always advisable to, as soon as you move into the house, before you start using that appliance, to get it serviced and swept and make sure all is. At the end of the day, it could have just been a normal builder that's come in and installed that fire. It may not be fitted to regulation. They may not have the correct ventilation, which means you could be spilling carbon monoxide back down into the room.
Right.
You could have a severe blockage inside. It may even be capped off at the top. You never sort of know, especially if you haven't got that sort of knowledge of how they work. So.
And how long would a service actually take on average?
The average service obviously all depends on the state of the fire. Some I'm in and out within half an hour. I'll also advise if I don't think it necessarily needs a service, if they've hardly used it. On average around about an hour and a half once paperwork and that sort of thing's filled out. But I generally won't leave until I've got the appliance looking sort of as good as it was when I went in or when it was installed. So. Yeah.
And if someone's concerned about their furnishings being damaged, I take it you take care of all that?
Yeah, most of the time the soot and the dust is generally kept inside a stove. If I'm doing an open fire and I expect it to be quite sooty, I'll generally seal the fireplace opening with a sheet and then sweep through that, and that contains all the dust inside. If there's a blockage, generally that's the only time it's going to be a bit more dirty. In that case, I'll, as I say, sheet up the opening and then also put sheets over the furniture and all that.
Tell me about any organisations that you belong to.
I belong to, firstly, HEATAS, which is the Solid Fuel sort of Association for fitting anything to do with wood burners, fireplaces. And also since starting out servicing, I've joined the National Association of Chimney Sweeps. They basically put you through a bit of a vetting process to make sure you're competent at working inside the house, make sure you've got the correct insurance policies, and you also put for an assessment at the end to make sure you've got the correct knowledge for doing the job at hand. So.
Okay, Dan, that's great. So tell us, how can we get hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach me by searching the Stove Doctor on Google, or directly to my website, which is www.stoveservicing.co.uk.
There you go. Thank you very much. There you are. That's Danny Hillier, and he works on behalf of Eco Fires and Stoves.